All right. All right. All right. We're waiting till the room gets populated.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock
Yes.
on the dot.
All right. So, guys, we are excited to be here with our first Wednesday Night Live.
We are super excited that you've joined us today. Today we're talking about feelings.
Absolutely.
That's like a big word.
Yeah. And let's talk about it for a second. We're going to just jump right in. As people come on, we're going to jump right in and do what we have to do. But there some of the questions that we get quite often, because in a given week, we get numerous people asking us questions about relationships, asking us questions about how do we, get through this tough time, or get through that tough time, or what have you. And sometimes it's it's kind of a tricky thing. But what we want to talk about tonight is some of the feelings that we experience and how do we get through them? How do we get through those feelings? So one question we had just recently was from a couple who had an argument, and they were arguing and they were having, start off light, start off easy, and then, that argument, always, as arguments always do, started to be something different than what the actual argument was. That argument started to be something that turned into something else. It started to be something that turned into something, about something that happened a while back, and then one thing happened, and then something else happened. Incidentally, if you're getting notices here, we want you to tune in and we're going to keep going, but we want you to still just jump right in if you have questions or what have you. So here's the thing. But when feelings started to be expressed, the question came to us: how do I tell my spouse that I hate when they bring up past arguments in a current argument? And how do I tell them that without them feeling that I don't care about what they feel? I don't care about what's going on in their world, or how they felt about a previous situation.
Well, what if the past situation was an example that they're using, and that's the only example they can think of?
Well, yeah. If the past situation was an example of what they were using, I get it. I get that. But here's the thing. That being said, when you're in an argument, it's so important to know how to express your feelings, even if you're talking about something that you feel is germane to the current situation. It's important as to how you express your feelings to make sure that they're expressed in a way that comes across, amenable to the other person. Because quite often, you've known this and you've experienced it in your own lives, you'll start talking about, leaving underwear on the floor. And before you know it, you're arguing about some ex-girlfriend. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Yeah. Okay? Let me give you an example.
Let's use us.
Let's use us.
Okay, we're going to get pretty raw and vulnerable here with you guys.
Okay. Well, not too raw, but go ahead. Go for it.
Okay. Well, so let's talk about this morning.
Yeah, we have arguments.
Discussion.
We do have arguments.
Well, I felt it was a discussion.
Okay. We have arguments, okay?
It was a discussion, but.
You're having one right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, so let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
No, you were asking some questions. Yeah.
Right. Well, I was asking. I was going through a stressful time, and sometimes, I wake up in the morning, my mind's going, and there's stressful things happening, and I'm thinking about all the things that I have to do, and I expressed, wow, I feel overwhelmed, or something, and for me it was just a matter of me sharing how I felt. That was it, and my wife, my lovely wife. Her response was, well, if you had done this or if you had done that, then we wouldn't have had you. Maybe you wouldn't have. And to me, that came across as, why are you telling me what I didn't do? It was like a deeper attack on the thing that when I just told her, listen, I'm just expressing, that I'm feeling a certain way, and you're telling me what I should have done, which is now making me feel worse. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, I understand why you're saying what you're saying and why you felt the way you did, but that is not what I was doing. I wasn't telling you what you should have done. I was just merely expressing what can be done to alleviate some of the problems that we're having. That's all. Now, what could have been done? Now, I think it was misunderstood, and so, guess what? Feelings got involved.
Mm-hmm. Feelings did get involved. And what happens quite often when things like that happen, because the fact is that I believe that when you're expressing something to your significant other, one thing that you have to do is this. You have to let them know whether or not, and I could have done this easily, you have to let them know whether or not you need them to help you resolve or solve, or you need them to listen. Okay, so it's like, is this a listening moment or is this a fixing moment? And that was a listening moment. I didn't really need, and most of the time, if you ever go to a therapist or a counselor, very seldom do they sit there and just tell you what to do. Basically, they listen and let you come to your own conclusions. And I guess I was looking for that, and I didn't get it. What I got was, well, listen, maybe this should have happened, that should have happened, and then it just didn't pan out. It didn't pan out well. Now, I'm getting messages. Are we live? I'm believing that we are, but it didn't pan out that way, and so as a result, yeah, we are. As a result, what happened was that, one thing turned into another. And before you knew it, it was a whole big issue that did not have to exist, okay? Simply because we didn't express ourselves in a way where the other person could fully understand it.
Yeah. And honey, maybe we could just leave that for now because we're live. We're about to show you guys in real life situation right here.
We're having technical difficulty, and we always have when we have technical difficulty, I want to make sure that we have an environment where everyone can hear it, and so I'm trying to multi-manage here and shit like that. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, but you asked me a question earlier, because one tool we use when we're doing coaching and sometimes for ourselves is the feelings wheel, right? To understand your feelings, to know why you feel the way you do. And so you were asking me earlier about my feelings.
Absolutely. What were you feeling? During that argument, what was your actual feeling? I mean, what were you experiencing? What were you going through? And so I asked her, what did you feel, when you were in your state? What was your feeling? And I said, was it sad or bad or fearful or angry or disgusted? What was your feelings? And there's an actual, psychology-based feelings wheel, which lets you actually go from your basis feeling to help you develop into something that's that's actually where you can actually understand what that feeling is. And your response was what?
Well, from all the choices, was it lonely, vulnerable, despair, guilty, depressed, happy, surprised, bad, fearful, angry, disgusted? Mine was sad. And from the sad, then was it lonely, vulnerable, despair, guilty,
right,
whatever, or hurt. And I feel like, for me, it was hurt.
Right. And so then I asked you, okay, fine. You're saying that you feel sad, but sad can be manifested in a number of different ways. Sad can be manifested, as you said, as being lonely. Sad can be manifested at its core as being vulnerable or exposed. Sad can be because of despair or because of guilt or because of depression or because of hurt. And if you're saying now your sadness at its root was hurt, well then let's define hurt. And what hurt you? What was the root of your hurt? And the root of your hurt was, some of the choices may be embarrassment or disappointment. And your response was what?
It was disappointment.
And so then I asked her, okay, fine. Now, understand, what we're doing is that because we all generalize our emotions into 5 basic, what is it? 6 or 7 basic categories, either happy, sad, disgusted, angry, fearful, bad, or surprised. We all just categorize our general emotions into that. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, right? But when you really define what they are, from sad, she said from sad, she was actually hurt. When given a choice to define her sadness and given options, one of those options she felt was closer to hurt. Okay, you said hurt. Now let's deal with that a little bit more. What does hurt look like? Were you embarrassed or were you disappointment? Because those are the sources or the root of hurt, And your response was?
Disappointed.
She was disappointed. Okay, wow. Now you're going from sad to hurt to disappointed, all in the same string of emotion, right? But now the question is, what were you disappointed about? And now we get to the root of the issue. And what was that disappointment?
Well, that disappointment was because you basically expressed to me that I didn't possess the capacity to help you in the way that you needed to be helped. And I was disappointed in myself that I can't give that. Yeah.
And in keeping it all in context, I guess the question is, having the capacity is, in my expression of that, I also told her it's not a matter of intellectual capacity or emotional intelligence. I expressed that if I can't define it clearly, then there's no way that you can have the capacity to understand it. And so ultimately, it came back on me, and I said, you know what? So I apologized. And I said, you know what? I have not expressed this in a way that you could understand. I said, it's on me. And I actually apologized, even though I'm the one who said, I feel overwhelmed. But I saw what it turned into. And so if you go through these steps when you're feeling something, it helps to define it helps you to define, and it helps the hearer also, the person that you're in the conversation with, to define what you're actually feeling. For instance, I'm angry. A kid does something. I'm angry at you. Are you really? Are you really angry? Well, let's talk about it. Well, what is angry? Are you feeling critical of me? You're feeling distant, frustrated? Are you feeling aggressive toward me? Are you feeling mad, bitter, humiliated, or let down? Well, actually, I'm angry. I'm let down. I'm let down because you didn't do your homework and you failed the test. So I feel let down. Okay, fine. Okay, do you feel betrayed or do you feel resentful? Well, I guess I feel a little betrayed because you told me that you were going to study and you told me you were going to be ready and you weren't. All right, so now it's gone from just being angry to I feel like you weren't honest with me You actually betrayed my trust because I trusted you when you said you were going to study and be ready for that test. You didn't do that. So now I feel as though I feel a little deceived. I feel a little betrayed, you know?
Yeah.
And so now it's much more of a personal thing as opposed to I'm mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you put that in the context of romantic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
it takes some vulnerability to admit that, you know, that's how you feel, that's why you feel the way you do, that you do feel betrayed, you know, that you do feel what's the other one?
Deceived.
No, you use the word.
Betrayed. Resentful.
Yeah.
Let down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that you do feel those things. It takes a vulnerability to admit that to your partner.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's not always easy for people to do that.
No, it's not. It's never easy. And I think that people are so afraid of being vulnerable. We're so afraid to be open and honest about our emotions. We're terrified that if we allow ourselves to be open, especially men, we allow ourselves to be open and to sincerely express what we feel, you know, number one, we're afraid because if we tell you how we really feel and you don't accept that, we're exposed. We have nothing else to tell you.
Right.
Okay. I tell you who I really am. I tell you that I'm hurt about something and you reject that or you take that and you throw it away and you belittle it. Then it's like, okay, fine. I can't trust you. Mm-hmm. I have nothing else to give you because I gave you my complete honesty and you were careless with it. Okay. So as a result of that, it shuts me down from ever doing that again. So in order to avoid all that, sometimes we just shut up. We don't say what we really feel. That, though, is not a sustainable way to live.
Yeah.
It is not a sustainable way to have a relationship.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you express it like that, when you go down the line and you evaluate why you're feeling that way and you express it to the other person, you're taking accountability for yourself. And that's not always easy to do either.
Oh, God, no. Because to take accountability, just think about the root word of accountant. To account means to number. All right. It literally means to take inventory of. So if I'm taking accountability for myself, I'm taking inventory. And if you've ever worked in a warehouse or in a store or anything, taking inventory is seeing what's on the shelf and what's being sold, what is left after what's been sold, you know, and we put the numbers in to make sure that that we haven't lost anything, we haven't been slighted, or banks do that at the end of the day. You know, the tellers have to take inventory, they have to settle the books. So when you take inventory of yourself, when you're accountable with yourself, you actually have to look at the things that are on your emotional shelf. You have to look at these things and say, what belongs here and what does not belong here? What about me is good and what is not good? What about me is helpful and what is harmful? What about my attitude really stinks? And what about my attitude is really good? And when people have the bravery, have the guts to take that personal inventory of their emotional shelf, and see what's on there and determine this thing is an expired emotion on my shelf. This doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
This is something that I should have gotten rid of a long time ago, but it's sitting there. It's anger, it's bitterness, it's pride, any of those things. If it's there, I need to take full responsibility for it being there, and then I need to do everything I can to discard it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes a certain level of strength and emotional maturity, emotional fortitude to do that. You know, it's easy to just sit in the general category of being happy, sad, disgusted, angry, surprised. It's easier to sit in those categories and just not examine deeper, not express anything, because now I can say, this is the way you made me.
Absolutely.
You made me feel angry.
And
you
yeah.
were responsible for my anger.
Exactly.
You were responsible for my sadness. So now there's no accountability on my part because you did it.
Right. And it's the biggest diversion. It's the biggest shift of blame to do that. To say, you made me. You made me angry. You made me happy. Because you can't make me happy. Mm-hmm. You can only create an environment where I can choose to take advantage of and become happy.
Right.
I can create an environment.
You can contribute to my happiness.
I can contribute to your happiness, right? But the happiness is all yours.
Yes.
I can contribute to your anger, but the anger is all yours. I can create an environment. I can put situations together where you can look at those situations and say, I don't like this. I am mad. Right. But I am mad. Right. Not you made me mad.
Right. Yeah.
The circumstances, yes, I created, but the anger, no, you created.
Right. It's kind of like those abusive people who say, see, you made me slap you.
Right.
You made me hit you.
Exactly.
See what you made me do?
That is A-class manipulation.
Yeah.
That is manipulation. If you're in a relationship, any kind of relationship where that's existing, consider the source. Consider the fact that this person is first of all is borderline. I don't like throwing around diagnosed terms terminology like narcissistic or what have you. But that person is very self-absorbed and may not be someone that you want in your life. If they're causing you to feel bad about their error.
Yeah. Yeah, and remember, that's on a large scale to say you made me hit you. That's on a bigger scale, right? But when you think about it, just the basics of it in relationships and what happens very often is the part where I tell you made me mad.
Absolutely.
Because you didn't make, I am responsible for me.
Absolutely. And it's almost like a microaggression. It's like, yeah, you made me mad, right? No, you made you mad. You made you mad. No, I did some stupid stuff, but you made you mad. And that's how we work with that. But it's so important for us to understand our feelings. So I encourage you guys that as our time is wrapping up now, I encourage you guys to get a hold of your feelings and stop just generalizing everything. I'm sad, I'm surprised, I'm angry, or whatever. I'm fearful. And if you look at the color wheel, and if you download this, there will be one there where you can also look at it, or you can look it up online. There's thousands of them out there. They're free. But look at the color wheel and start learning how to express your emotions, not just from the generalization of sad or happy or angry, but more specifically, I feel accepted. I feel very courageous about this, or you know what, I feel empty about that. There's a difference between saying I'm sad and I'm empty. Wow, you feel empty? Why? There's a whole big difference there. So start changing the way you express your emotions. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, you have to learn what your emotions are.
Mm-hmm. And at the innermost feeling that you're experiencing, that's the point where you can start bringing some type of resolution to your challenge, whatever challenge or your situation, mm-hmm. Because now you fully understand the way you feel, why you feel the way you do,
right?
And you understand those feelings to the deepest level.
Absolutely.
So now you can start resolving.
Absolutely. That is the absolute truth. And that's where we want you to be. We don't want you to just be at a position where you're expressing your feelings and that's the end of it. But there has to be a point of resolution. But you can't resolve something that you can't understand. Mm-hmm. You can't resolve something that you can't get a handle on. If I can't fully know what the challenge is, if I can't fully know what the problem is, how can I possibly know how to solve it? And that therein lies, the importance of knowing your emotions and dealing with them. Okay? Well, look, we're going to stop.
We're going to stop right here.
All right, we're going to stop right here.
Yeah.
So God bless you guys, and we thank you so much for tuning in, those of you who did. And we look forward to talking to you next time. This is our Wednesday workshop.
Wednesday workshop every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
All right, great. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.